Welcome back. We are going to set up the saw to cut crown molding. This is the way the crown sits on the wall. We're going to be cutting it upside down on the saw. That's a very common way to cut. This is a 12-inch saw, by the way. It's a Harbor Freight cheap saw. You don't need a really expensive miter saw to do this. One thing, keep the saw clean. One thing you want to do to set the saw up is that, believe it or not, even though this crown molding has these extrusions on the back to keep the spring angle right when it's up on the wall, you can get the cut wrong on the saw. Right now, you see it's sitting on the saw. You think it's square to the back and it's set to cut, but it's not. This is where the saw should be. You see it? This is where the crown should be, up against the fence. It's square. If you look around the back of the fence on both sides, you'll see that it's square to the fence. Now, what I do to set this up is that I have a hot melt glue gun here. And different saws have different ways. You know, you might even have a crown, I don't know what they call them, a sled to cut crown molding. I find it unnecessary. All you really need to do is line it up on your saw, thusly, in the correct position, okay? And with your hot melt glue gun, get yourself a couple of sticks, by the way, like this. These are, I think, 1/2 by 1/2, something like that. Yeah, 1/2 by 1/2 hardwood. You can pick them up at Home Depot, anywhere. What you want to do is put a little daub of glue here. Stay away from the crown. You don't want to be gluing the crown molding down to the saw. Well, we're going to glue that stick down up against the, you get the stick up against the crown, and that's going to be our guide to cut. We're going to put one here, we're going to put one on the other side of the saw. I'm just holding it in place right now. Unless you really knock them, they stay in place. They won't move once the glue sets up. Let me get that one out of there, and we'll do the second one here. Make sure we're flat up against the fence. Get some glue over here on this end, and I'm a good 1/2 inch away from the edge of the crown molding, because I don't want to make a mess. And there you go, there's the second one. And we'll just let them set up, and now I have a guide for cutting. I put my crown molding and I'll know that it's in alignment with the saw. This is just a piece of scrap. Next thing we'll do, I'm going to shut this down, but we will set the saw up to do a cope joint, because a good number of people don't know what a cope joint is. There's tons of videos out on YouTube about cope joints. I'm just double checking my alignment here. Looks good. Tons of videos out on YouTube, but this is a little unique because it's not wood, it's foam. So it cuts a lot easier. You can do a cope on this a lot easier than on wood. And the big advantage of doing a cope joint is that inside corners you get a very tight fit, and any irregularities usually can be taken care of with just a little bit of caulk. But you get a very tight fit, and your fits are not critical. They're not as critical as with inside joints. If you were to do 45-degree inside joints, every piece that you cut has to be exact, and it has to be at the exact angle of the wall. And don't let anyone ever tell you that, oh, it doesn't matter, you can just do 90-degree inside joints on a wall, because it's not going to work out, because some walls are 89 degrees, some are 91 degrees, some are 91.5 degrees, and when you're cutting crown, it's as big as this, and this is what, 5.5 inches on the back side, but I think it's like 7 inches on the front. When you're cutting really wide crown molding like this, it matters. A half a degree matters. You'll end up with big gaps in your joints. So you're better off with cope joints on inside corners. So I'll shut this down now and I get set up to make a cope joint. Cut a piece of crown and we'll cope a joint. Welcome back. I think we'll go through a few basic cuts here just to make the video complete. Because I haven't been showing everyone how I cut this stuff. Let's just start with a basic butt cut here at 90 degrees. Somewhere in the video, one of the videos I made, I warned you that when you have a butt cut that a piece of crown molding and you're not sure whether it came out of the box that way or if you cut it on your saw, you should recut it again. You want all butt cuts to be done on your saw. So even if you pull a piece right out of the box with the factory butt cut, you don't want to use that butt cut, that 90-degree cut, okay? And what I'm talking about is you don't want to use it as a finished edge. In other words, if I wanted this to butt up to another piece, I want to make sure that this is at 90 degrees and the piece I am butting it up to was also cut on my saw and is at 90 degrees. Because there can be differences between a 90-degree cut that's done at the factory and one that's done on your saw, okay? So I just want to reiterate that once again. If you want these seams to disappear when you butt them up, you're going to have to cut both of them on your saw. Otherwise, they may not mate up. So they're not going to mate up that way. It's upside down, but I don't have a clue if I cut these or if they were factory cut. I don't have a clue right now. But they made up pretty good, so I'd say that both of these were cut on my saw. And that's the point. Now, you don't have to worry about, you pull a piece out of the box and you want to make it inside corner. Of course, you don't have to worry about that, okay? Inside, outside corners. If you want to make it an inside corner, well, actually, I'm going to discuss that when I do the coping in the next video. So inside corners will be discussed in the next video. If you want to make an outside corner, okay, everything we do on the saw is upside down, okay? So here's one I did already. Let's say you want to make an outside corner on the right-hand side of a piece of molding. This is the right-hand side. You're going to turn it upside down, and in the saw, you're going to approach it from the right side. You're going to swing the saw over to 45 to the left, and that's going to give you your right side outside corner. A left side, or a left outside corner, obviously is going to be this way, okay? This way, upside down. So Hopefully you'll remember that. Well, you'll have the video to reference. Inside corners will be the next video. And I discussed butt cuts, so that's about all that we got. We discussed setting the saw up here. That's it. You know as much as I do now. So I'm going to end this, and good luck with it.